Today I want to talk to you about odd-shaped bars that you might find in the gym and ones that we use here in the clinic for various reasons. So the first one I'm going to show you is possibly my favourite. This is the hex bar, so called because it's hexagonal shaped. So what's the benefit of the hex bar? Hex bar is sort of like a midway position between squatting and deadlifting. The really nice thing about it is that it doesn't put a lot of compression through the spine and it spares the knees a fair bit. And the reason it does that is when you step into the middle of it, if I bring it around to the side, is the weight is when you line yourself up, is right in the middle of your centre of gravity. So to pick the bar up, all you do is stick your bottom out, bend your knees, come down, hold the handles, and then you're basically squatting it up off the floor. So it's a really nice exercise that's really kind to the back, that puts enough pressure and force through the muscles in the joints to allow them to adapt and to get stronger. So I tend to use this quite a lot for my back rehab. We also start using it for like osteoporosis. And we've even used it a little bit for shoulder work, getting people to do sort of like deadlifts and then go walking with it up and down the clinic. So if you've got a hex bar in your own gym, or if you want to come and join our gym here, this is a great alternative between squatting and deadlifting. If you have trouble with these exercises, it'll get just as good a conditioning effect and be just as strong in your whole body, your knees, your hips and your ankles. So that is the first of our odd bar series. Later on today we'll look at safety squat bar and some other unusual contraptions. See you later, bye bye. Hi, so number 2 in our odd bar series that you might find in the gym. This is the safety squat bar, which looks like a relative medieval form of torture. But this is a really useful piece of equipment for a number of reasons. I tend to use it quite a lot for lower limb rehab and possibly back rehab, but it's also good for people if they have shoulder pain and they like to squat. So when you come in and you have a look at the bar, unlike your conventional bar which is straight, this sort of bends down at the bottom where you put the weight on. So this will change where the weight is in relation to your body when you're squatting. The other quite nice thing about this is this yoke component here, and this is where you put your head and your arms. So instead of in a conventional squat having your hands out here, which can put a lot of stress on the shoulder, you can hold it nice and close down by your chest. So if I sneak in through here, when the safety squat bar comes out, you basically put your head through the yoke and up you stand. So when I've done that, the weight is now sitting in front of me as opposed to in line with my centre of gravity. So when I squat down, what I've got to do is my back has to work hard to stop me tipping forward. So these muscles here are getting an awful lot better. And the other thing that it's doing is instead of the weight being more through my hips, I'm starting to put an awful lot more weight through my quads at the front. My shoulders, instead of being stuck out here, are now in a far nicer position, and I can just hold them here. So if I've got shoulder pain, this is really useful for me to keep squatting without causing any more problems. So I can squat with this, but the other thing we can do as well, if this doesn't go wrong, we can do lunges. Coming forward, and then coming back, and that's a nice alternative. And if I had a step in front, there's no reason why I can't do step ups with it. And those would be my top exercises I do with the safety squat bar. It's a really useful piece of equipment. It's an odd looking thing, but it can be a great one to help get people get stronger through the back, get stronger through the legs, and really save these shoulders if you've got a bit of a tricky shoulder. So that's our number 2 bar of the series. And next we'll talk about something for your upper body and your bench pressing that's a little bit more out there. Speak to you soon. Bye bye. Odd shape bar number 3. They don't come much odder than this. This is the Swiss bar. This looks ridiculously heavy, but it's not. Alright, so what do we use this for? This is a brilliant bar for shoulders. Use it often as a replacement for your standard bar in things like bench press, shoulder press, incline press, and even rowing movements like that. The reason I really like it is in these sort of movements with the standard bar, your arm tends to be in a fairly sort of what we call internally rotated position. And that can put a fair bit of stress through the shoulder joint. However, with this little number here, because the handles are now angled, much more sort of perpendicular to the axis of the bar, it keeps your shoulder in a far more neutral position. And by doing that, it'll take a lot of stress off the tendons. And by doing that, then you can still load up that shoulder, get it nice and strong without putting any extra stress on it. The thick handles also make you grip harder, and if we haven't used our grip more, then our arm's going to get an awful lot stronger anyway. And this is really important for shoulder problems. And by doing that, especially in your rowing movements like your bent over row, you will actually get stronger by using lighter weights thanks to the thickness of these handles. So this is this medieval contraption. This is the Swiss bar. This is our favourite bar, number 3. New bar, number 4. This is our new toy. So, this is your standard barbell, which is attached into what they call, nicknamed the landmines at the bottom. And we've done videos on these before, but this is a new handle that we've had sort of ordered to bring in. And this is great, this is brilliant for shoulder health. The reason I really like this is we can do pressing movements, and these, because these rotate, it will go to the point in your arm that you feel is the path of least resistance. And that path of least resistance is quite often your least painful movement. So we can get a lot of loading through your shoulders, a lot of loading through your total body, and get good pressing movements going. So from there, all we do is we lift it up, hold it just in front, and what I really like about this is you can stand underneath and get a nice pressing motion there. So that gets you quite a lightweight. If you want to start lifting things a little bit heavier, we can then lean into it, and that gives more force through the whole body. And then from there we can push up, we can come back down, we can go an offset stance, which will change it slightly. And if we're feeling very, very adventurous and a bit crossfitty, we can do a squat, and then up and press for a good conditioning effect. So this is probably our favourite new toy within the clinic, and that is the ATX bar.